Okay, we're gonna change topics tonight for tonight. Tonight's Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon. So don't forget Yalav Yova in the Shemona Esrei. Tomorrow davening is Rosh Chodesh. Shabbos is also Rosh Chodesh. But as everybody knows, we have two Adars this year. Now, what's the reason, generally speaking, of a Chodesh Ibur, of a Shana Muberes, of a leap year? So Chazal tell us, the Pasuk says about Pesach, it has to be b'Chodesh Ha'aviv. It has to be in the spring. The solar calendar has 300 different opinions, even the Rambam brings down different opinions. The solar calendar has approximately 365 and a quarter days. That's where every 4 years they add another day, February 29th, because it has to make up for the 4 quarters of the day that the year actually is. Now the lunar calendar is 354 days in the year. That means there's 11 days less in the lunar calendar, which the Jews follow, than in the solar calendar. So after 2 years it's going to be 22 days, and then 33 days, and after 10 years you're going to have 110 days difference between the solar and the lunar. So then what's going to happen is you're going to have a snowy Pesach, if you live in a place where it snows. So therefore, what did the Torah Institute gave the Koyach to Chachamim to do? So in the time of the Bais Din, Bais Din decided each time, every year, based on a lot of certain things, the Gemara says and the Rambam discusses, when the next year should be a leap year. Okay, they had to make that decision in the month of before Adar began, so to speak. If it's going to be a leap year or not. We don't have that Bais Hamikdash anymore. Even after the Bais Hamikdash, they did it based on the Bais Din's, the testimony of the witnesses. So what do they do now? So the way the calendar was set up by Hillel, who was the grandson of the Hillel, his grandson, set up a calendar in a 19-year cycle for all generations, for all times. Now in that 19-year cycle, there's 12 months that are 12 years, that are regular years, and 7 years are leap years. So after, in the 19-year cycle, basically, and it equals out the solar and the lunar. There are many times, not always, but many times, your Hebrew birthday and the English birthday will fall out every 19 years on the same day it was originally. Usually it's not going to fall out on the same day, but many times, not always, many times it's going to fall out on the same day as the Hebrew English, because again, it basically reconfigurates it in a way that, so that's the concept of why we have a leap year. Why is the month of Adar the leap month? Because it's the last month of the year. Torah's months begin from Nisan, so the last month of the year, in order for Nisan to be in the spring, so if the Chacham feel the need, for whatever reason it was, so then they would make an additional leap year. So now the question in halacha is like this: which is the real Adar, and which is the additional Adar? Now there's a lot of very, very practical laws. Birthdays, yard sites, birthdays, bar mitzvahs. There's a lot of various different things. How do you write in a ksuba? So, generally speaking, the proper way, like when you bless Rosh Chodesh, like we did last Shabbos, we say Rosh Chodesh Adar Harishon. The next month we're going to say Adar Hasheni. But what happens if a person, let's say, is born in a leap year? Okay, let's say they're born in a leap year. So if they're born Bais Adar Rishon, and the year, next year is not a leap year, so they celebrate Adar in Bais and a regular Adar. What happens with the 13th year, they become bar mitzvah, and it's also a leap year. So because, the halacha is a different opinion, but the halacha is because you were born in Adar Rishon, your bar mitzvah is Adar Rishon, if that year falls out to be a leap year. If you were born in Adar Sheni, then your bar mitzvah is Adar Sheni. That's why we said many times, it's a very interesting scenario. If a kid is born the 20th of Adar Rishon, 20th of Adar Rishon, And another kid is born the 10th of Adar Sheni. Okay? So he's really 20 days older. The first kid is 20 days older than the next kid, right? Now what happens the year they become bar mitzvah? It's not a leap year. It's a regular year. So what happens then? The kid that was born the 10th of Adar Sheni becomes bar mitzvah on the 10th of Adar. The kid that was born Chaf Adar Rishon, even though he was born 20 days older, but he becomes bar mitzvah on the 20th of Adar Sheni. Right? I'm sorry, the 20th of Adar that year. So it comes out, a kid sometimes was born 20 days or even more. 20 days after another kid, yet to become bar mitzvah first. Now, so therefore...
So he would be bar mitzvah in his son?
Huh? No. He's born in Adar. If he's born Adar Sheni, the bar mitzvah is in Adar. If he's born Adar Rishon, the bar mitzvah is in Adar. Now, what happens when it comes, let's say, to... I'm not going into those details. Okay, technically you can have twins. One was born right before sundown, the last day of Adar Rishon, and the twin was born, let's say, 40 minutes later, could be, 40 minutes later, so he is the Aleph of Adar Sheni. So, twins, you can have the second kid be a month older than his younger brother.
In a regular year.
Huh? Yeah, in a regular year.
And the younger one would have...
Now, one second. So what happens... Okay, but now let's discuss various different practical halachos. When do you celebrate a birthday? Let's say you were born in a regular Adar. Okay, let's speak about bar mitzvah. Bar mitzvah is relevant halachically when you become an adult. So what happens if a kid is born in a regular year, no leap year? He's born the 10th of Adar, regular year. Now the year he becomes bar mitzvah is a leap year. So does he become bar mitzvah in Adar Rishon, or does he become bar mitzvah in Adar Sheni? Or the same question is, not so much, but by a birthday. Which time do you celebrate the birthday? We'll discuss differently. The same question is, when do you keep the yard site? If somebody passed away in a regular Adar, okay, and now it's a leap year, so when do you keep the yard site? The first Adar or the second Adar? So let's discuss it because there are different halachos about this. Number one, about bar mitzvah, most 95% of the poskim, that's the halacha today, you become bar mitzvah in the second Adar. Really, the birthday is the second Adar. When it comes to birthdays, though, the Rebbe writes that you should celebrate both birthdays. In other words, even though halachically it's the second Adar is when your birthday is, if you were born in a regular year, nevertheless, on the first Adar you should also, just when you have Purim Katan, you should have a little celebration for your birthday in the first Adar, even though really, halachically, you become bar mitzvah in the second Adar. So the Levush writes, why are you bar mitzvah in the second Adar? Because according to many opinions, that's the main month is Adar. The first Adar is the additional. There's machlekes in halacha. What's the real Adar and which is the additional Adar? So concerning bar mitzvah, they write, the Vush other people write, that the Adar Sheni is the real Adar. The first Adar is the additional one. But it comes by Yartzeh is the interesting thing. Here's a machlekes between the Mechaber and the Ramah, Bais Yosef and the Ramah. And therefore it's interesting, the Sfardim do like the Bais Yosef and the Ashkenazim do like the Ramah. What happens again? Somebody passed away in a regular year and now it's a leap year, so when do you keep the yard site? So the Ramah writes, you keep it on the first Adar. The Bais Yosef writes, you keep it in the second Adar. Nevertheless, the Ramah writes that even though Lepel we keep it, the main yard site is the first Adar, you also keep the second yard site, but not that you can push away another oval from the Omid, but the main yard site again is the way Ashkenazim hold. Sfardim hold the main yard site is Adar Beis. Ashkenazim hold the main yard site is Adar Aleph, and that's when they do all the things. but they also keep other sheni, say Kaddish, if they can get aliyahs, whatever, all that stuff, though, whatever it may be.
Why is there a difference?
In fact, I'll tell you what the difference is. The question is also about Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu's yahrzeit is Zayin Adar. Moshe Rabbeinu's yahrzeit is Zayin Adar. Now the question is, when do you, those people that have a Chabad Kaddish have a fast Zayin Adar, many people have a whole thing Zayin Adar, many people don't say Tachton Zayin Adar, there's a lot of things going on Zayin Adar. So the question is, when do you keep Moshe Rabbeinu's yahrzeit? So again, it's a machlekes in poskim. A lot of poskim hold you keep other sheni. The Rebbe holds, and a lot of poskim, but the Rebbe also holds, and he brings a proof that it implies like that from the Gemara, that Moshe Rabbeinu's yahrzeit was another Aleph. Because about Moshe Rabbeinu, we know Moshe Rabbeinu was born Zayin Adar, and he died Zayin Adar. And the Gemara says that Hashem fulfills the days of tzaddikim to be complete. Now, from the Gemara in Saita comes out, we're according to one opinion, the Rebbe says you can't have an argument in a fact, that according to the Gemara in Saita, it says Moshe Rabbeinu was born the first Adar. Because the Gemara says she hid him for 3 months, right? Moshe Rabbeinu's mother, Yocheved, hid Moshe Rabbeinu in the basket for 3 months. So the Gemara says there's 2 opinions. Well, one opinion says it was the 7th of Pesach when Bisya found him. Another opinion says it was Matan Torah. Okay? So the Gemara asks a question that if it's Shavuos, then you can understand, because Zayin Adar to Nisan to Iyar to Sivan. So you have exactly 3 months. Right? So then it makes sense that he was born Zayin Adar and they found him in the basket on Shavuos. Then you have the 3 months proper. But if you're Shlish Pesach, so what do you got 3 months from the 7th of Adar to the 21st of Nisan? So the Gemara answers that year Moshe Rabbeinu was born was a leap year, and they counted most of Adar, most of Nisan, and most of Iyar. So it's the first Adar he was born, so you have the first Adar, the second Adar, plus the majority of Nisan, so that means the 3 months. So you see from the Gemara in Saita that Moshe Rabbeinu was born Adar Rishon. And you can't say the Gemara is a machlekes in a fact, was he born Adar Rishon or Adar Sheni. So therefore, the Rebbe learns that the yahrzeit, this is the way we hold, that the yahrzeit, many poskim hold like that.
According to the opinion that it was Sivan.
Right.
So what's the difference?
Yeah, but then it could be they hold it wasn't a leap. That's the whole question, is the machlekes in Metzias or not? Was it a leap year or not? Right, so the Rebbe learned, even though it's a deichik, because then it's 4 months, but it's more logical to say somehow it's Adar Rishon with the same cheshbon. Yeah.
How do these dates work? His calendar wasn't established yet. You said Philip established it.
They had dates, and they had not the calendar of the way we have it. They had the office kept the Torah. When did the Malachim come to Avram Avinu to tell him he's having a baby? So one opinion says it was Pesach, one opinion says it was Sukkot, Tishrei. So yeah, they had calendars, they had those types of things in those days that they functioned with. It wasn't like officially like we have today. What?
Why is there a difference between yahrzeit and birthday?
Because yahrzeit is, you mean why it's a machlekes that it says one second. Okay, one second. Why is yahrzeit different? That's the Ramah. The Mechaber says not like that. Tainus Rishon. Because they learned it off. They learned that out from Parshas Tetzavev. Yeah, I should have remembered this. It says by Moshe Rabbeinu's name is not mentioned in Parshas Tetzavev. Right? Why isn't Moshe Rabbeinu's name mentioned in Parshas Tetzavev? Because he said, erase me from the Torah. So why if it's Parshas Tetzavev? It's because Parshas Tetzavev usually falls out Zayin Adar. But according to that cheshbon, Tetzavev is in Adar Rishon, not in Adar Sheni. In Adar Sheni, it's much later. So for Yartzeit, they learn it has to do with the first month, based on that thing. But the second, as far as a bar mitzvah, even though, by the way, there are poskim that hold, by bar mitzvah, he should be machmer, no, we don't paskin it, but there are opinions that say he should l'chumre count bar mitzvah from other issue. What?
Going back to your other hypothetical about the brother, the twins born an hour apart, so when it comes to the bar mitzvah, the younger brother, who's an hour younger, would actually have his bar mitzvah a month earlier.
Yeah, well, you could have a kid born 20 and 10, so he could also be 20 years old. Here it's interesting twins.
Right.
It's a more interesting
The
phenomenon.
younger brother would have his bar mitzvah first.
Yeah. What?
We don't know, for example, when Moshe for sure was born. Why are there opinions?
No, we know he was born Zion Adar.
So why are there two opinions when he was born?
No, everybody knows we know he was born Zion Adar. The question was, it a leap year or not a leap year? And the Rebbe seems to imply that the Gemara really is the opinion that it was a leap year. Otherwise, you're adding another argument in the Gemara.